I spoke about it last week, and it actually did attract quite a lot of attention. Not because of me, it's just because, and I have my reasons why it become a national news. Because one of the sitting ministers of Pakistan actually gave a speech in the National Assembly, and he asked why JUIF's leader Salahuddin Ayyubi, how dare he married a 14-year-old girl? This guy on the left is a parliamentarian on the left, belongs to a religious party, JUIF, which, by the way, translates to Jew in French. And this man's party is very anti-Semitic. Anyone who says anything, they say you are a Jew. Even according to them, Imran Khan is a Jew as well, or planted by Jews. But anyway, so he is his political rival, so that's why they actually try to take advantage of it. Or I try to look at the bright side, that at least they're talking about it. That's how dare a 64-year-old lawmaker of a party married a minor girl. Now, as I said, this is the guy on the left. The girl on the right is from a town called Kafiristan. Yes, there is such a thing in Pakistan, or Kafiristan, also known as Kalash. According to the people of Kalash, now these people have a very weird religion, or different religion. They have some ancient paganism. I'm not really sure. I think people can't really work out. It's not Hinduism, but it's not anything else either. So some ancient religion that they have been that they've maintained for thousands of years, and they remained isolated while all these things were happening. According to these people, these Kailashis, according to them, they are the descendants of Alexander the Great. Although I think some scientists did do DNA investigation or something, but it didn't found they weren't they didn't have anything Greek in them. But they look quite different. They're quite fair skinned. They have quite a lot of European features. But anyway, so they live in the mountains, northern Pakistan. They have remained isolated for thousands of years while Hindus and Hindus came. I think Sikhs came as well at that point. Afghans went there, and then obviously Muslims came, and then Afghans and Muslims. I'm talking about pre-Islamic Afghan. And then Greeks came. Greeks came, and then Muslims came, and then British came. Throughout these last 2,500 years, they have actually remained isolated. But ever since our Pakistan came into existence, their number has been constantly declining. The government has tried to protect them. In the recent years, they have tried to forbid inter-religion marriages, or mainstream Pakistanis and these Kalashi people from marrying each other. But in some cases, these women they actually end up marrying Pakistani men themselves out of their own free will, because there's so many. The world is modernizing a lot, and there's so many perks and benefits. According to them, I don't see any perks or benefits in marrying a conservative Muslim man. But anyway, so a lot of people go there. And one of my relatives actually told me that he gave a house to a cleric in Lahore, and then he said he found out that he went to Kalash and bought a child bride for himself for 50,000 rupees, which turns out to be like $500. So he was telling me, he's like, "Oh, Harry, well, what do I do now? I got to kick him out because he will get in trouble." I said, "Well, that's what happens when you deal with these clerics." So anyway, so how the law goes, and apparently before we go further, so he's also been urged by modern lipstick Muslims to resign over child marriage. They're saying civil society has demanded resignation of MNA Maulana Salahuddin Ayyubi, which is named after Saladin, for getting married to a 14-year-old girl in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Members of the Pakhtunkhwa Civil Society Network expressed disappointment over the illegal marriage of MNA Maulana Salahuddin Ayyubi with a 14-year-old girl in Chitral. That confirms it. According to the news, the girl was a student of government high school Jagor, where members of the Pakhtunkhwa Civil where her date of birth has been recorded as 28th of October 2006. Now, here's the interesting part. With the legal age of marriage for girls being 16, except in Sindh, where it's 18, Pakistan has the sixth highest number of absolute child brides in the world, 1.9 million. So child marriage prevalence rates in Pakistan remain alarmingly high. More than 21% of girls in Pakistan are married before the age of 18. But this number is quite good or consoling, I'd say, and 3% before they are 15. So majority of this 21% of these girls are between the ages of 16 and 18. Sorry, 15 and 18. And 3%, now that's more worrying, of these girls are before the ages of 15. That's literally child by all standards. Across provinces, prevalence is reported to be highest in Sindh, which also happen to have the highest age of consent, age of marriage, which is 18. Isn't that amazing? Followed by Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where this incident took place, 29%, Balochistan 22%, and Punjab 20%. And then the newspaper goes on to actually talk about the dangers of child marriages. It is estimated that by ending child and early marriage, the country could potentially save $77 million by 2030 or lead to a 6.2 billion in earnings and productivity. So age of consent in Sindh, down south, where I have reported on countless stories of Hindu girls being kidnapped, abducted, Hindu children, girls, being abducted and forcefully converted to Islam. Majority of them under the ages of 18, nothing happens. And the stat itself says 33% of child marriages that actually do take place, they happen in Sindh, despite the fact that they have the age of marriage is 18. Says a lot. Punjab is the only one where the age of consent is actually 16. Now, there's a little problem in that news, and it wasn't well researched. And I looked at it, and there's a bit of a discrepancy there. So basically, Child Marriage Restraint Act in 1929 was applicable to whole of Pakistan back in 1947. It was actually introduced by the British, which prescribed 1 month punishment for marrying a child under the age of 16. The said act, after the 18th Amendment, which took place in 2008, it became a provincial subject. Punjab and Sindh government have adopted the new law with strict amendments, punishment for child marriages, and Sindh being the one where they have increased it to 18. The KP government and Balochistan government have not adopted the law of 1929, not made a separate law. So technically, in Pakhtunkhwa, where this guy is, you can actually marry a 1-year-old girl as well. There's no law, there's no age of consent there. So I think Mr. Fawad Chaudhry, MNA Fawad Chaudhry, maybe you do have a government in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in that province. Maybe it's time for you to tell Imran Khan to actually raise the age of consent or age of marriage in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa to at least 16. I would say 18, but at least 16. That's what you should do instead of just making these fancy speeches when you know damn well. And he's a lawyer too, so he knows it. And this guy will walk scot-free. Nothing will happen because he hasn't broken any law. There is no law. To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.